everyone, and welcome to Calculating the Annual Percentage Rates of ETFs. I'm your host, Dr. B. Today is episode 15, March 24th, 2025. Congratulations to the Penn State wrestling team, 2025 NCAA champions. Penn State has now won 12 of its last 15 NCAA championships, and it's fourth straight for the third time since Cale Sanderson became head coach in April 2009. Sanderson is now second in all-time NCAA history with 12 head coaching titles to his credit. And a special shout out to Carter Starachi, win 5 straight, first time ever to win 5 straight NCAA championships. 5 is a good number. So today, with that in mind, we are going to discuss the IWD, iShares Russell 1000 Value ETF. Just like any sports, you have to have growth in your sport and you have to provide value. So here we're going to talk about value for today. So if we start out with $10,000 back in 2015, we'll see what that grew to. It grew to only $22,564. But what's important is, what is the percentage over a period of 10 years? Because we don't just deal with 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, 5 years. What's going to happen over a long period of span with this value, IWD? Now, this one's a little personal to me. Yes, I do own it. My financial advisor puts money into this for me when I do investments. I don't add money to this. That's up to her to figure out how much she should add to IWD. So let's take a look at this. It's made up of mostly financial services and healthcare. Matter of fact, 22.2% is financials and 14.8% is healthcare, which is 37% of all its sectors. Let's see, real estate is 4.81% and only basic materials is 3.63%. And to look at the portfolio, you can take a look at the URL, which I have here at the bottom. And if you should know my videos by now, I get a lot of my information from Morningstar.com. Let's take a look at the holdings for IWD. Number one holding at 3.84% is a company that I love a lot. It's been around for a long time. Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated, owned by Warren Buffett. Second, JP Morgan Chase. Third, ExxonMobil. Fourth, United Healthcare Group. Fifth, Johnson & Johnson. And number 6 there is Walmart. So look at this. We have overall investor in number 1. We have a banking company number 2. An oil company number 3. Fourth is a healthcare company. 5 is a pharmaceutical company. And 6 is a retail company. And let's take a look at also that these are only 10 of 869 holdings that make up 18% of IWD. Whereas if you have a growth fund or a total stock market fund, they usually make up much more than 18%. Sometimes you can find up to 30% are in the top 10 holdings. But for more information, look up on Morningstar.com. Let's take a look at what's happened recently. The market has not been doing too well since 2025 has begun. So the total stock market has been down about 5%. Growth has been down 9%. But look what value has done. Value has been steady. Value is slightly up at 0.87%. But again, we don't invest for just 3 months. We invest for the long haul. Now, what's a long haul? Yes, back to Carter Starachi. 5 years he's been a champion of the NCAA ever since he went to Penn State. What has the market done in 5 years? Well, if you take a look at the total stock market, it looks like it's up 85%. Growth is up a whopping 120%. But value is holding its own at 54% So you should always have some kind of hybrid, a mixture of growth, a mixture of total, and a mixture of value. My financial advisor would always tell me you don't put all your eggs in one basket, and nor should you. Should you like to put everything in growth? You could, but you also need to own some value. Now, let's take a look at why we do this. We want to calculate the annual percentage rate. IWD is compounded quarterly. So here is our calculations. Yes, we're going to go back to doing calculations. I'll go through this pretty fast, so if I'm going too fast, you at any time can stop the video. Present value is equal to P times 1 plus the rate divided by number of times compounded, raised to the power of N times T, and yes, IWD interest is compounded quarterly, so that's 4 times a year. So let's get into our little chart. Let's calculate the annual percentage rate of IWD. We'll start off with our compound interest formula, and then we'll use our substitution, and we'll substitute the values we already know. The present value as of March 22nd, 2025 is $22,564. That's based upon a $10,000 investment. We're compounding quarterly, 4 times a year. And our exponent is number times quarterly times time in years. 4 times 10 is 40. And then we're going to apply division property of equality, and we're going to divide 22,564 by 10,000 and get a decimal of 2.2564. That's equal to 1 plus r over 4 raised to the power of 40. And then we're going to use natural log on both sides and just put the natural log on both sides. And then get your handy dandy calculator ready and plug in the natural log of 2.2264. And you'll see you'll have a decimal of 0.81377. Now, how far do you round? 4, 5, or 6 decimal places is sufficient. Usually 5 is a good number. And then 40 becomes a multiplier, and that's the application of natural log. And then you're going to divide your decimal into 40, and then you're going to get a smaller decimal of 0.020344. Since 4 is close to 5, I did not want to chop the 4 off. I don't want to round down to 0.0203. Maybe I could have, but since 4 is close to 5, I want to keep those numbers. And that's equal to the natural log of r, or 1 plus r over 4. And then our seventh method is applying e, the inverse of the natural log, with the natural exponent, and then you e both sides. And what's going to happen is the e in the natural log on the right side, that just goes away. And you take e of a number a little bit more than 0, you'll get a decimal of a little bit more than 1. So you simplify, and that becomes 1.02055 equal to 1 plus r over 4. Again, if I'm going too fast, just stop the video at any time. And then you want to get rid of the ones by subtracting on both sides, and then you get a decimal of 0.02055. Since 5 is in the middle, I don't want to get rid of the 5s because I can take 5 and multiply by 4, and you'll see something nice happens. You'll multiply both sides, and you'll see you get a rate of 0.0822, and then we change that rate from a decimal to a percentage, just multiply by 100, and you get the annual percentage rate of the last 10 years of IWD is 8.22%, which is a decent percentage. That's more than what banks are paying, CDs are paying, bonds are paying right now. Is it double digits? No, it's not double digits, but why do people invest in value? Because it's safe. But according to the rule of 72, initial investment of IWD could double in 9 years. Why could? Because past performance does not equal future results. So if you take the rule of 72, that is just take 72 divide by your interest rate. So we're going to round down to 8% because 8.22 is a little bit more than 8%. 72 divided by 8, that equals 9 years to double. Some people want to double their money in less than 9 years, and that's why I buy growth and I buy the total stock market. In 3 mutual funds I have in my retirement fund of a 403b, I double my money in 6 years. You can do that, But you have to be careful, and it takes time, and you have to know where you're investing. You have to be diversified. So once again, I do own IWD. I just don't control IWD, and I probably never will. I'll let my financial firm take care of that. Thank you very much. Hope you give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers to keep going here, and I will keep going. I won't stop. Just like Carter Starachi didn't stop for 5 years, just like the Penn State wrestling team will not stop, and you don't stop either. Take care, and I'll see you again with my next video coming out again in mid-April.